undefinably multiply beyond math, productivity of all humans, for all humans' benefit to life. People will love work like that. People of all ages, people who work naturally. We all work and we all desire to work and all produce and have things that are amazing that you could trade and buy or sell on this web space. It will promote beyond math anything that has ever been for the whole world to enjoy every day will only expedite and multiply. Children will have a place to put ambition, drive, and hope and see immediate powerful results. Each could create their own unique kingdom that is beautiful and unique, and you can join clans or groups and battle together in the web space, travel together, and face very complex and beautiful places to fight. The system is very complex. Domains created by developers for public to battle monsters, domains to rescue, obtain magic items, and break through uh, special perks and marketing perks that would promote you to the top of the list in the world for whatever you're trading or selling. Um, Endless space domain with different planets to visit and meet different cultures and NPCs of different races, and you could develop your character more than ever, building off the foundations of all the video games that have ever been. Developable fighting styles that even surprise the user with their abilities and fighting styles. Special clothing items that have powers. In your own developed, if you're an active developer, you can develop your own domain and kingdom and let's just call it a house somewhere in space that you could daily put up for trade or sell the items that you love and also decorate it with all sorts of things. And also, you could post there if people passing by your house, and you could have sort of a list of things that you're planning on doing or that you will be doing that week that people could kind of request to be a part of your group projects. And you could be selling crafts, you could be selling art, teaching, literature, music, athletic videos, car race vids, soccer vids, mechanic vids, comedies. Say there's a group of 50 different film fanatics that have found each other and they're working on an action movie, a movie that they are working on and they're trying to produce in a certain amount of time, and they're going to sell it for $5 as well, maybe $7, and they get a kind of a promo. Let's say they do two promos that are like trailers, and they get a lot of traction, and it's like it looks really cool. And there's like thousands of people that tell other thousands of people around the world that there's this new movie, and heck, it looks cool, and why not? And it's created by passionate film people that have been in the industry, but they didn't really feel like they could make their own movie, but they've been in the industry for so many years, and they are making a movie that is like tasty. And example, literature people could do the same thing. They could get together, say they want to make short stories that are just like tasty, and there's easy reads, quick reads, but they're selling them for like 250, and they end up getting an audience of, it comes like a new thing. It's just like a short story thing. Maybe work together. Video people could work together and create a TV show together. People who've been in the industry or have not been in the industry, they're just passionate. They find each other at the ice world, they find each other at the desert world, they find each other in the forest world, and they're like communicating, and each person would have sort of trench coat of their stuff, just like open up your trench coat and I'm selling, I'm trading this, what you got, kind of a thing. And wild kinetic people like me could find each other throughout the world and develop cool surf, soccer, skate vids, and daily they could sell like for $5 or less, is something that generates real income from people's passions daily for all ages. I think of when I was younger and the things that I just naturally did, and I if I were to be paid for them, even if it was like $1 per video, that would only expedite the and just as encouraging to the soul and to the person, and to validates to them that you are worth something, that you work, that you actually do work, that you're a valuable human in society, and you produce, and you're it's good you're on planet Earth. I got this vision mainly from being homeless for an amount of time, and I had this idea of overwhelm me for this web space, this idea of what I always wished that the internet could be. I always have just kind of been like, well, what can I do? I want to get on the internet. I want to, but I'm not too excited because I know what's kind of there. But what if there was a thing that was on the internet that was that thing that you would be excited about every day, that you would log in and just think of it like you log in to the website and you're in intergalactic space, and there's planets and there's people from all over the world. You could meet anybody from anywhere in the world, and they could be doing whatever they're doing, and you could make new connections, join new clans, just go and have fun at one of the worlds in the game worlds, and then maybe you meet up with a couple people who are into what you're into, or maybe who are not. They just do like poetry, and you're like, well, that's cool, let me buy one of your poems for $2. And then you're like, whoa, that poem actually felt like it was exactly what I'm going through. It's kind of weird, honestly. And can you produce two more for me, and I'll pay you $10. Boom. That same thing happens to 1,000 other persons. That person who has done poetry, or kind of dwindled in poetry, now is validated, and as something awakens in them to a whole new level, and expediates and multiplies in their being, and it's just like they become, it's growth, massive growth, and then they become, let's say, in 5 years, a crazy good poet, that like their poems literally mentally heal people, and like that kind of a thing. People who love science get together, and they're like, we want to change the world. We have these ideas. We just naturally think this way, and we don't know who to talk to. It's kind of weird. We're weird, but we're gonna change the world. We have this idea to create this thing that is gonna be this thing, and so say 50 to 100 science people get together, and they meet each other throughout the world, and they're like, oh, you're kind of like that too, blah 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 blah, and then they actually do that thing that's like been aching them, but they couldn't kind of coordinate, find anybody, or like they could find each other in this place. They could find each other and just randomly doing a fun thing at the desert world. That there's gonna At the desert world, the main economy is automotive and racing, and it's gonna have like races every day that are kind of like speed cruiser races, etc. And it's a hustling, bustling kind of environment at the desert world. People selling and buying all kinds of mechanical things, and they say they meet there just kind of, and there's so much other things at the desert world. There's caves and deep caverns of that mystical wonder that could transport you, if you find the right ones, to different places in space, and particularly to the psych world. There's some connections there. Also, you can view constellations and the stars from the desert world that can direct you to certain places easiest to see at the desert world. um, Live events, environments hosted for everyone to have input during a live hosted event, for people from the whole world to interact together. Say there's art people that try to do a live hosted event, that they're like, I'm doing this, I'm going to paint a painting, and I'm hosting this thing, and I want y'all to watch it live and give me ideas live. And it kind of goes through a lottery thing, and it like, oh, you're chosen of one of the 100 people for this next 5 minutes. Tell me what to paint, and I'm gonna do it. And they do it live, and then they can sell it. Then they can yada yada. 15 different people from clothing companies. I've worked at this particular company. I've worked at this particular company. I currently work at this company for 10 years, for 5 years, for 15 years. I love clothing, but I do what I do. But I would actually like to make clothing, and like I'm passionate about it. But in my current place, that's just not possible. But what if these same people, they stay employed at where they're at, they continue to do what they do, and all percentages, there's a certain percentage that kind of goes towards their current employer, uh, based on just respect and like what I've learned there. And but then whatever new item, they design an item and manufacture it and create a piece of a super nice pair of underwear, and it's something that's always bothered them and they've wanted to create, and they do, and they all the percentages go to the correct places, and they end up making uh, putting this underwear on the market, and it becomes a thing, and then just an idea, t-shirts to socks maybe. I love cars. Car developers. Say there's car developers. They've worked at this certain car development company, but they're at a place where they're like, I do what I do. Um, but say 100 to 200 of them get together, and they're like, we're 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 passionate about automotive, and what we want to do is we want to create a racetrack in this certain city, and we're going to fund it, and then we're going to fund races that we televise. We kind of have like, and then all the percentages of that can go to this, that, and them. Create an income from that. It becomes a thing, and then the entire world becomes a cool thing that's a unique kind of racetrack, and it's put together by passionate people. But let's say those same people want to develop a dream car that they've all kind of thought of. It's it's like nothing else, and they do because they got together, and percentages go to where they currently work, a certain percentage, and then percentage to each of them, and they figure out how to make it happen. They're together through finding each other in this web space. Some even people, they're like, let's develop lotions and oils, and I'm passionate about that. I've worked for this company for this many years. I know it's competition and all that, but it will drive competition even more, and even in a better way, competing on a totally different level, and everyone could enjoy and benefit, freer from hate, and everyone, all in different cultures or whatever makes us all unique. Understanding this will cause naturally every human to be more productive beyond math, productivity, expedited, excited every day about, no matter what age, no matter where they're currently employed, or if they're not employed at all. It's the idea that they could just go into the library, log into a website, the web space, and get active and actually sell or trade something in a very easy way. More It's about people creating magic in this life more than the movies. That's just what the movies have been about. People creating together, unifying together, actually unifying the world, and validating each other and each other's work. I think everyone is full of potential and wonder and beauty and power beyond description. I want to clarify, eliminate hate through understanding. This could exalt every human. Every human, I think, wants to work, express themselves, pour out their being, however you want to say it, or just a little frustrated because of what has been. There will be a beautiful immediate shipping of items, drop stations in local places and key places in the city, pickup of items when delivered, payments go through when the seller drops an item at a local station, global free-flowing trade in an excellent, efficient flow. The payment screen will be simple and dark and comfortable. Doesn't feel like, oh no, uh, sell price, and a trade option. Clear description of the sell price, clear picture, and maybe a short little vid of the item that you're selling or trading. Here's what it is. Desiree sends a request with a clear description to trade for this or that. Um, on button pushes into and user's screen goes into buttonhole or whatever shape. That's just kind of a design idea. Active developers have an account. Transfer of funds is immediate. Eventually, a unique card of the website that is sent to you in the mail that you can use anywhere. In the future, it's going to be funded hopefully by itself, but in the meantime, earlier it could be connected to desiring banks. Bi-weekly, monthly active developers could have a payment of $3 to $5 to $20 to $10 or some ideas. Any person can explore the space and the world with or without being an active developer. But if you are an active developer, that allows you to buy and trade and sell items, generate your own unique house or kingdom in the space, intricate character development, and various influence on the space world. There's more to be said about that. Maybe somebody wants to be a super active developer, a super donor, and they just say, I want to pay $50 a month for this thing. I want to pay $100 a month for this thing. They could get super perks where their marketing is promoted massively in the world, where their items are massively uh, promoted to every person. Might have like a thing that says, okay, this person, they just kind of get a note because this person's a super active developer at the time. This is a, if you're interested, this we're promoting this person because of these reasons, and it's legitimate, and it wouldn't feel like a nuisance. It would feel like, okay, cool. Like that person is making fabrics, or they're making music, or they're making this or that, and they're selling it for $1.50. Like, all right, that's rad. Space vehicles would be completely uniquely made in almost a CAD sort of way, where you start off with the overhead view of just a simple cutout of the shape. Next, go into a more 3D view of the side and cut out and kind of just plotting points. There's going to be a door here, there's going to be an engine here, there's going to be a window here. And then from there, go into an even further 3D where you can kind of walk around and start further. Uh, you're kind of walking around what you've actually sort of designed, and then and then there'll be a kind of a tool set of, let's say, just probably 5 to 6 different items, one for cutting, one for moving this way, and just a basic kind of design program, but making it the ability to make complex and unique spaceships. One of the ideas I love about this is, say, a clan of skaters get together, and their main thing is that they have unreached people group in the world that they want to help, and they each do what they do. Some of them do art, some of them are mechanics, some of them are selling this, some of them are trading that. They've generated through the past 6 months $250,000, and they want to send that to this unreached people group through care packages, through they're building houses, and they want to build an actual food market that they're going to drop in food um, bi-monthly for the next 2 years, and that's just a start. Imagine the satisfaction of that. I mean, like, all right, now on the worlds, there's going to be a music world. Some of the worlds are Singular in that there is one world in the web space that everybody in the world can visit at one time. There's also worlds that each person has unique to them. Some of those worlds are the food world, the music world. Those two I can think of at the moment. The music world is people together creating beautiful, real music that is also visually expressed. You can, just so everybody's not bombarding your music world at whatever time, you have special sort of, these people can enter into the music world, and whenever they can create music with me. Sort of like uh, with the mouse, you could grab a visual sound frequency spectrum in this scale pattern, in this blah 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 pattern. It will only multiply more beyond what May has ever been in regards to the amount of money flow. That this sort of thing will change regions of the world that have been in famine, stress, and financial lock. People will be able to fight for these places in the world that felt pain of feeling like ignored, alone, and unreached. People could reach the unreached in a real way, send them care packages, how the account system works, homes, food, care, art, encouragement. Think of daily global trade, interaction, money movement like on such a degree that a clan of artists could battle to bring homes hope to an unreached people group across the globe. A clan of tech people could fight for people that they may have felt was their enemy and show otherwise by real gift giving that changes attitudes beyond description. They might decide to send them cars, homes, boats, money like millions of dollars. I believe this will be possible because it may not have been like this, but I know the ambition of people enough to know that if they could and will have millions of dollars to give, and so much money will be flowing that will be insane. It will be more about people enjoying the world, enjoying other cultures, enjoying what is on this planet, and enjoying it together. There will be so much money flowing. It will be insane worldwide and ever multiplying on with a different level of ambition, with people working together for causes, for people groups, for families, for those who feel lost and alone, whose story we will try to exalt. I know this is possible beyond description because of the lifetime I've lived. I've experienced humans creating the internet, phones, and video games that prove 100% that this is more than possible. Sooner than I could even imagine. This is very possible, and we humans who believe in such know we can create this magic in our lifetime, no question. People who could have teaching classes that are globally possible to tune into daily and enjoy lessons where people are just venting. People are just saying what's going on in their world today, what's going on in that part of the world today. How can we just at least try to communicate and connect and understand, and teaching culture of cultures, bringing understanding and peace. Why is this? Why is that? People could be selling their products from Bangladesh and Kazakhstan, and say places where people do art and their main um, income is tourism, but they craft all sorts of wood crafts or whatever kind of materials they craft from, jewelry, art, beautiful paintings, and beautiful things that they just do. They're talented, and their only income is tourism at the time, where this would allow them to easily promote all their products to just be in the world, find people from out the world, other people find them. Somebody from America finds them and is like, I love their stuff. I'm literally going to buy their entire cart. And then I'm going to tell all my list of people about them. I'm going to rate them 10 out of 10. And I'm going to say, if you're looking for any art, these are the people. That same person who got their entire cart bought gets requests for 1,000 new items, and they're overwhelmed, but they're like overwhelmed and like, wow, like people. It's valid. It validates them, and then they start producing on a whole nother level. They're excited about life on a whole nother level. They feel validated. They feel encouraged about what they do naturally, and it's like then they start. That becomes a thing that they get invested in other businesses, and they get uh, move in other ways that um, they've had in their mind that they've wanted to do. This is going to drive work progress, productivity beyond description with a completely refreshed mentality, building on what is there with all respect, care, and influence, but also multiply that same hope and desire that has been that we have seen that has we've experienced and reveal the infinite potential of what could be ahead in a beautiful, powerful way that multiplies beyond math. The movement of goods and money will be so exponential, these things will matter less. It will be like people have more than enough and they're just able to trade, sell, and travel wherever they want to, interact with whoever they want to. Um, these things will matter, money and will matter less, and people and humans are just going to enjoy each other and the planet and peace and more and more. This is just the foundation, this is in the skeleton. Those with established businesses can use all their learning, wit, skill, and this web space will be so unrigid, creative, and competitive in the way it will reward for all effort on a level like in a way that causes them all to grin. It's going to be a blessing for those with now who have and or those with not yet. It's going to be a level playing ground in that those with establishment in the marketplace will want such a thing because their potential audience and buyers will be a whole world of new interaction possibilities in a way that's beyond description. It will benefit them no matter their thoughts about it, from former ways or style to generate income and keep afloat. This is not this is really not something that can't be a reality. We have the foundations. I can see clearly already. We have the resources, capabilities, and the amount of productivity for all cultures and people will be benefited. This is not going to take away from others. That is not so. It will actually exponentially increase even everyone's riches wherever they are today. Those with their foundations with this see this limitless potential. So no fear of loss to any parties where they are. Let not this stop you. It's going to exponentially increase everyone's riches and wealth in ways that will excite and be fun and innovative for whatever each person is in life today. Those already established will have a beautiful new platform additionally to what they already have if they so choose, and I believe they will be exponentially benefited if they do. It's going to refresh. It's going to bring hope to many business and individuals who felt locked with these ambitions because of ever increasing level of possible web development that will bring infinite creative satisfying potential to businesses. In the endless universe, there will be a water world, a forest world, ice world, fire world, psych world, music world, mineral slash element world, a dark world, a light world, a desert world, a food world. The forest world is sort of uh, with wood people and the trees. As you fly into this world, and you're pretty much just seeing. It's going to be difficult to find anything because it's mostly hidden in the trees. And when you just fly into the world, in any part of the world, whatever your coordinates you have, you might get coordinates, you might get leads from other planets and other places and other sorts of individuals who know something about the forest world to say, around these coordinates, you probably, or if the city's still there, that's where you want to look. Very smart and shrewd people there, beautiful complex homes and walkways in the trees. The cities are very simple, sort of, there's just a clothing mart or a market, a tavern, and supply sort of area for building. Intricate pathways through the trees, excellent with animals, movement, health items, medics and balms, crafters, marvelous structures of rocks, and excellent crafters there. Most of the world is in peace. They love literature and learning and the arts. They love animals and their splendor. They love language. They're very discovery oriented. There will be a school of life at the forest world. The water world will have very three major cities and possibly up to seven. It's got frequent storms on the surface of the waters, very rough seas, frequent sea monsters and creatures, whales, octopuses, monsters, very harsh world, old style and or modern sea crafts, old style or modern style sea crafts to wage against the sea that you create or buy. Powerful imagery of crashing loud waves, very tumultuous and powerful. Underwater, there's coral reefs. You can find beautiful ecosystems with different creatures to catch or interact with for meds, foods, oils, etc., that you can use for other things, different ecosystems, creatures that could talk with personality, help in the quest. Incredibly beautiful, glowing is one, and the easiest city to find that you could see actually glowing above the surface, about 100 yards under the surface, the beginnings of it. Another is almost invisible. Another is super deep and full of mystery beyond description, naturally protected by local sea beasts and natural environments, and understanding and relationship established with other cultures in this world may help you have access to the third city or how to even find it. Absolutely beautiful coral reef areas with peaceful roaming for the most parts. Catch sea creatures for supplies like pigments and meds. Underwater sea ships can be purchased and bartered for at all three cities, and very different are each of them. Sea people, they craft the marvelous of sea boats underwater, over water, at least that's what they say, slaying sea monsters that have major rewards from certain city people. Um, you could harvest scales and oils for various things. Mysterious areas in the sea regions like the Triangle gain seafaring reputation and fame with all accomplishments. Gain relationship with sea people helps in many ways. The fire world will be the very least visited, and it's incredibly difficult to visit and stay alive for any amount of time based on the grotesque and vicious monsters there, and there will be several cities there. If there's a crew of people that train and get prepared and have the proper equipment to have a escapade to the fire world in order to um, harvest some of the many magnificent treasures there. It will probably be televised at several of the worlds, and it will be an event sort of a thing. And um, it's an incredibly difficult world to do anything at. But if you are of that sort of ambition, there's crews I'm sure that you can find, and um, there's a music world, blank space. Um, you could there's a frequency spectrum you could grab onto and sort of use and force and pull this and that way with the mouse and manipulate it in such a way that musicians all kind of dreamed of and thought of rather than just touching finding a note on a string. You could find it and even different parts of it by laying out different scales and key registers and different tunings, and then actually visualizing the frequency spectrum and it be visualized with color and other elements, and you can grab onto it and use it and force it and pull in this and that way, and then a whole keyboard and mouse and is involved in the release, creating sound and colors, painting the world. You could create something out of the blue, like a special underwater craft, spaceship weapons based on the music and the artistic music that you create, it kind of the game would reward you in special clothing and etc. Sell or trade your pieces of work. Maybe a person could bring in a piece of former music into this program to experience it visualized, or even being playing a piano with a mic, and the program translates into a visual expression. The psych world would be very um, explorative, with very many creatures, most of them cunning and crafting and not the best, most of them sinister, though some good creatures, a vast open land with mountains, places you can get caught into, forest, mountain regions, city, neighborhoods, special items, special clothings for the fire world and the ice world you can find in the psych world. Help generate income through special amulets that you could find there, and market uh, perks and um, special amulets to exit the world where it is. There's very many ways that you can get caught into the world, and there's 2 to 3 martial art dojos with unique dojo masters in this world where you can learn more of the way of the light or the way of the dark. Uh, Forest areas. There's crystal caverns and incredible beauty. Ocean, a psych ocean, kind of expressing music and the echoing and the there'll be creatures in that psych ocean as well. Um, Special foods that you could gather and sell and craft. There's going to be a science slash element world that you can find a magnificent city of science there, literature people there, creatures that are unique to each part of the world and region, and kind of borrowing on what known elements on the periodic and various elements are expressed throughout various regions of the world and various creatures that are going to be natural to those areas. School there of science, master of mixing. This is where you can learn to mix various elements. Each element has a compound that's consistent to what it is, but they're each unique, and that there'll be a screen that has a kind of a you can look and see, okay, I can see what element that is based on the general composition, but it's unique in these ways, and it has some unique elements, this, that, and there. Let me grab those unique elements and mix it with this other element and see if I've heard from other places that that is a possible good fuel source, and it does, and you create a new fuel because you add another element from the element world that's a unique element that has some other compounds that are kind of interesting, and that you create a kind of super fuel that you then can sell and market. Other things you could create and craft from other elements or weapons, and other modifiers, and you can learn these things at the School of Science. Fuel from this world is there's a lot of fuel that you can find in the world. Uses chemistry, mixing of elements, involves the mouse and the keyboard. It'd be kind of fun and interesting, even just mixing. You just kind of twirling around. You're just like, it has a 3D view, and they kind of move it around and see this compound, and you see the kind of the molecular based borrowing from reality, the molecular structures of what makes something, and seeing that visualized, and then maybe moving those things and these connections, and then kind of pulling it over here, and then with creating friction and force, and then it kind of explodes in a way, and it becomes something new and beautiful. Fuels and metals and elements for ships, for boats, for weapons, for other things, creatures throughout the land that are natural to the environment. I think of, like, so there could be some kind of green toxic ocean there that's a certain element, and there's all sorts of specific creatures there that if you um, at a certain time of year there's a migration of this certain creature that is very profitable if you sell it at a certain city in the ice world, and you get a crew together to uh, hunt that certain migration, and as you do, you find that there's other things that happen. There's another migration that correlates, that tries to hunt that migration. You wouldn't realize that other migration is very hostile, and they start attacking y'all, and it becomes a whole thing that only the two of y'all get out of. And then it's just some ideas of adventures that could be possible. Um, Music world maybe starts as completely white blank space, but you kind of choose a scale key register, and then you can see visualized a frequency spectrum or a key that you could grab onto with your mouse and start twirling it around and causing friction in this area, and then it releases, and it releases a sound, and it releases color, and that kind of crafts your entire world. As I said before, everybody's going to have their own unique music world and unique food world, and possibly some other worlds, but those two are on invite. You can invite people to your music world, and not a bunch of random people can just bombard your world, but your music world you can shoot out of and kind of like create influence in the space, and like um, when you invite somebody into the music world, you can kind of dance together and creating a whole beautiful scene of music composition. The dark world is where, if you are more of the light, you visually see um, monsters that have uh, caused cultural um, lockdowns and have caused what we see, um, and what you would see if you're more of the light. You actually see the monsters kind of causing some things, some cultural holds of hate, and bringing understanding, um, kind of in a visual way. Um, in this world, you can use special items and special gems that you found. You obviously gain reputation and fame the more that you do in the dark world, the more places that you liberate, in forest areas, in the cities and train yard areas and farmlands and neighborhoods and homes. You can kind of get a camo that you can find in the desert world and the psych world, that you can kind of camouflage yourself from the monsters to be less visual to them. Um, you can see that some of these monsters cause what they cause, and how they cause hatred and fighting amongst cultures and misunderstandings, and certain monsters have bound up cultures and certain ideas and people groups, and um, you literally can get a special crew together to say you've had intel of, there's certain monsters that tend to be in these certain places, and you heard intel of this certain farm area and this certain farmhouse that is um, very populated with the intel is with certain creatures, and you can um, actually visually see sort of an atmosphere of darkness, and certain places are more kind of nasty and have a different hues. There's different hues of colors that kind of suggest or indicate certain presences of monsters. And there's this one area that just looks like it's got all kinds of stuff going on, and you get a crew together that y'all have been training, and you get together about 10 of you, and you make a uh, attack on this area. Four kind of are staying 250 yards away from the specific area. Another four um, surround each side of the building before anything happens. Um, and then one person goes right in the front door, and say you drive a vehicle right through the front door, and um, you are encountered with more than you thought was there, and the other four engage through their locations, and the combat would be so that each monster has each body part, and each part of the monster has value, and has abilities of uh, that you can debilitate. And so, say for example, one person is more of a hand-to-hand combat person, and they grab this certain monster and they do a swing motion and throw them over the edge of the stairwell with such force that it busts out a couple of the creature's large teeth, and the teeth go flying into another one of the creature's faces and takes out that creature. And that causes interest of other monsters that then start pooling out of this building, and there's a massive fight, and the combat would be satisfying. And the monsters, like I said, they have personality, they have tendencies, they have unique traits and characteristics to them, and also that each part of their body has ability to be there or to be removed. Um, Special weapons, maces, swords, guns with special bullets. Um, you can actually visualize some of these monsters like false witness monsters, shame monsters. The desert world will be very automotive. The main city is hustling and bustling, and somewhere you could always go to just find something to do. And there's constant races daily. They're sort of Land Cruiser and or wheeled vehicle races, and a lot of betting that goes on, and a lot of you can get involved in those races. Your custom vehicles get involved in those races. There's certain unique beasts and creatures of the natural environment there. Races from space that frequent this world. Um, Under the land routes to special routes to get to undersurface caverns that have some of the most beautiful crystal caves, pools, and weird and mystical connections to other worlds. You might find that the desert world and some of these places you can transport to some of the cities in the ice world and the water world that are incredibly difficult to get to otherwise. Excellent spaceship makers and stations, cave art and maps outside space world to navigate you. And in this particular desert world is the easiest to see star constellations that can navigate you to other places, and possibly other, not necessarily planets, but sort of, there's going to be kind of black holes that occasionally occur, and super unique things that occasionally occur, anomalies that occasionally occur in the space that could um, be incredibly exciting for everybody who's a part of the site. Star constellations kind of could be a real thing to learn from. Another world is the architecture world. This is a world where people could get together to create unique buildings, moving buildings, crawling buildings, underwater hotels, over um, something that is on the top of the building and has a tunnel, not necessarily an underground tunnel, but an overground tunnel that goes all the way down to the surface of, say, 5 miles down, and is it's a hotel and entertainment place, and they custom design it, and you found a bunch of people from Croatia and other places in unique places in the world that have uh, people that are interested in architecture, and you find that y'all together create a moving building, and say you create a moving building that um, you learn a pulley system for each of the limbs that at certain distances this sort of thing seems to work. And then, well, how there's a sort of skin-like thing over the creature that has movement of water throughout it, that electric pulses kind of squeeze and contract, and that movement of water spins a little indicators or um, responders of their little like bucket sort of things, miniature, and they move and they jiggle, and all that is translated and sent to a generator, and that generator is uniquely designed and spins, and you literally have shaped out the shape that has the most force in each swing, and the momentum of the actual steel or whatever material is used on the generator. And you have four of them, and they all coordinate together, and they're all magnetically charged in a unique way to where they sort of spin each other, and then there's a magnetic charge to each of the receptors in the skin sort of membrane of this moving building. And you've created this moving building in this world, and you've also involved two homeless people that had the ideas for most of the things that were um, happening, that were unique, and that actually caused the machine, key features to cause the machine to actually work. And then these people who have been in architecture companies for so many years um, involve these other two homeless people who are just in libraries doing this thing at certain times. And they say, let's do another project. And they do another project. And then they say, you know what? We want to involve you guys in a real project. And they want to, and they do. And they say, let's just, in the meantime, let's do it online, and let's do it in this sort of way. And they end up doing it, and they end up creating an income that's unfathomably much for these homeless people. And these homeless people become home to people, and then they end up in the industry, and then they end up doing even more. And then they didn't just want to do architecture, they wanted to do this, that, and the other. And but it's that's kind of the idea.